Hi everybody, welcome to today's biology class. Okay, so we almost completed about the cell membrane, features of cell membrane, the method of transport of materials across the cell membrane, about the osmosis, diffusion, regarding the cell membrane, all the terms that we completed now. And I sent the notes too. I hope all of you copied the notes. Not only copying, you have to study. Okay, I will conduct the test papers and others later. Okay, we will think of about that. How can we conduct? So next important part of the cell that we have studied, that is the nucleus. We know about that from the 8th standard. We studied the three major parts of the cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. So the second important part that we are going to study, that is the nucleus. The nucleus is one of the important part, or we can say it is a controlling unit of the cell. It can control all the cellular activities. That is the main function of nucleus. Nucleus can control all the cellular activities. The location of nucleus is generally at the center. In a plant cell, it is located at the center. You can see the location of nucleus in this chart. This is the nucleus. Okay, this is a nucleus. In this chart, you can see this nucleus is located at the center because it is one animal cell. So, in case of plant cell, the nucleus is located not at the center, that is shifted to one side. But in animal cell, the nucleus is exactly at the center. So, we can study what are the major parts and also the functions of this nucleus. Okay. So, nucleus, like the cell is covered by a single-layered membrane called a cell membrane. Like that, nucleus is also covered by a membrane, not single-layered but a double-layered membrane. This membrane is called a nuclear membrane. The membrane of this nucleus, that is called a nuclear membrane. Okay, then nuclear membrane is double-layered, and in between this nucleus and the cell, what is the cytoplasm is there. So through the in between the cytoplasm and the nucleoplasm, the materials they want to transport. For that purpose, we can see small openings. Small openings are there throughout the nuclear membrane. These openings are called nuclear pores. Pores means openings. Pores. Nuclear pores or nuclear openings. Through these openings, the easy transport of materials is possible. Then inside the cell there is a fluid called cytoplasm. Like that, inside the nucleus also we can see another fluid. This fluid content present inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is the fluid that is present inside the nucleus. Okay. So this nucleoplasm can provide the suitable conditions for the survival of all this kind of things present inside this nucleus. So we can see what are the different floating materials or suspended materials present inside this nucleus. Inside this nucleus, we can see there is a small spherical body. There is a small spherical body we can see. This small spherical body is known as the nucleolus. Nucleolus is a small spherical body that we can see inside the nucleus. Nucleolus helps in the production of ribosomes. Ribosomes is considered as one of the cell organelle. That will study what is this ribosome. Ribosome in turn helps in the synthesis of proteins. Ribosome can produce the proteins. So generally we can say the function of nucleolus is to produce the proteins. Okay. So other than this nucleolus, we can see inside the nucleoplasm a large number of small thread-like structures are there. Thread-like, small hair-like or thread-like structures we can see. This thread-like structures are called chromosomes. Chromosomes are the thread-like structures that we can see the suspended inside this nucleoplasm. The chromosomes are visible only at the time of cell division. We know the old cells are usually dividing and producing new cells. So the chromosomes are visible only at the time of cell division, or the cell is able to divide. At that time only we can see this cell, chromosomes. Then chromosomes is made up of small segments called DNA. DNA are the small functional segments of this chromosomes. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, that is a DNA. So DNA in turn made up of genes. DNA in turn made up of genes. genes are usually associated with the transmission of parental characters from one generation to next generation. So we can say the function of these chromosomes or chromatin materials. The chromosomes are generally aggregate to form a thread called chromatin. Chromatin is usually using to for a collection of chromosomes. A collection of chromosomes is known as a chromatin. Chromatin thread commonly using. Chromatin thread is usually a short thread. This short thread is made up of a number of chromosomes. Okay. So what is the main function of these chromosomes? The chromosomes helps in the transmission of hereditary characters from one generation to next generation. The characters present in the parents to young ones. Okay, that is because of the this division of this chromosomes. Just think about what's the type, what's the this size of the cell. Cell is a microscopic one. Inside the cell, another microscopic structure called a nucleus. Inside this nucleus, we can see this hair-like structure is called the chromosomes. Over these chromosomes, the coded information of all the bodily features are there. The coded information of all the bodily features are there. This bodily features can transmit from one generation to next generation at the time of reproduction. So these are the major parts of the nucleus. Once more we can see what are they. Nucleus is this covered by one envelope covering called a nuclear membrane, a double-layered one, and throughout this nuclear membrane we can see the small openings called a nuclear pores, and also inside the nucleus there is a fluid called a nucleoplasm. And then nucleolus is the small spherical body that is present inside the nucleoplasm. Other than this nucleolus, we can see chromatin materials or chromosomes are suspended inside this nucleoplasm. Then what are the functions of this nucleus? So nucleus is the main controlling and coordinating center. So then the nucleolus helps in the synthesis and production of proteins. Then chromosomes helps in the transmission of parental characters from one generation to next.